How's it going, lads and lasses? Hiya Toys finally came out with their Wolf Predator figure. It's been quite a while since they announced this, and it's finally out. That's kind of been tradition with Hiya Toys, is they announce just a whole bunch of crap at one time, and then it takes a very long time for it to come out. But it's here. I've got it in hand, so let's take a look at it. So before we get into the articulation, let's just take a moment to appreciate that detail there. For such a small scale, they're able to put in quite a bit of detail on these figures. You can see all the different scars on Wolf's mask. The spikes are a little bit lacking because they're pretty asymmetrical in the movie. You know, some of them are broken. They're all different sizes. But the rest of the mask just looks great. I will say we are missing the symbols that are supposed to be on his forehead. But that'd probably be really difficult to incorporate on this scale. So I'm going to give him a pass with that, but that's something to note, is that those symbols aren't there. Alright, let's get into that articulation. So the neck is actually a little inhibited, more so than some of the other Hiya Predators. That's about as much up and down as you get. And the side to side is always limited because of the hair. It might be double jointed, but the collar around his neck kind of limits that. So you just don't get much out of that neck. You do, however, get quite a bit out of the arms. You can swivel all the way up there, do a full 360 all the way around. You've got good elbow swivel there, double jointed. Hand is on a ball joint. The wrist gauntlet is a separate piece, so it can kind of pivot around. Wrist blades pop in and out a little bit. You get a decent ab crunch, nothing special, but it's serviceable. So you've got the ball joint here, and then you have another one at the hips. So that gives you a pretty good range of motion. The plasma casters, they're both the same. So they swivel like that. There's no rotation there, but it rotates right at where the plasma caster meets the little arm. And it goes forward because that's on a ball joint. However, you can't, flip it all the way up so that it's in the typical resting position. Legs kick out about that far. Don't kick back very far at all. You can just about do the splits with it. Knees are double jointed. You get a little bit of rotation here at the hip, but you don't really get anything down below except at the foot where it'll rotate. Do a full 360 and it'll pivot forward and backward, but you don't get really any side-to-side motion. And that's still a place where they need to improve. Alright, I'm going to set them back up and get to accessories. Alright, so for accessories, we've got one Combi staff, one Shuriken-style smart disc, two alternate open hands. You can kind of use this one to grip stuff, but that's not what it's specifically designed for. You got this metallic grate stand, and of course 2 H clips, so you can connect it to other stands. And thank God we get the whip with this wolf figure, because that's arguably his coolest weapon, and I would have been so pissed off and disappointed if this wasn't included. So let's go ahead and get this uncoiled here and... Oh no. It doesn't uncoil. That's just one solid piece. What the hell were they thinking with this? This is arguably the coolest weapon that he has, like I said. And you're not even going to include a full one, just this stupid coiled one that just hooks to his belt. Come on, Hiya. Alright, so what do I think of this figure overall? So to kind of give my too long don't read, I would recommend this figure. It has a lot of great qualities about it. We don't get a lot of wolf figures. NECA hasn't gotten around to theirs yet, so this is probably the only one we're going to get for at least another year. And it's pretty good. You know, there's a lot to love about this figure, but there are some issues that I want to go over real quick. So first I'll say what I like about the figure. I think it looks really great. I think they have the proportions down because the body is a different mold from the AVP figures. It's a little slimmer. It's got molding in for all the different straps and buckles that he needs on the chest. The helmet, despite not having the glyphs on the forehead, looks nice. I would have liked to see those glyphs, but I understand that at this scale it would have been too difficult. It might not have even looked good at this scale, but you know, I like what we have. The dual plasma casters look really good. I would have liked a little bit more articulation out of them, maybe just some side swivels, but what we got is more than serviceable. I'm happy with those. So now on to my issues. Of course, my biggest issue is the goddamn whip. That's just, wolf figure needs the whip. That's how I feel. He needs to have the whip. And what I'm guessing is somewhere down the line they're going to do Wolf V2, and he'll have the uncoiled whip, plus probably the plasma caster that he converted into the hand cannon. And I really don't want to have to buy a whole separate Wolf figure just to have the uncoiled whip. I think that's stupid. You know, that's just my speculation. They might just not ever give us the uncoiled whip. But if I was to guess, that would be probably what they're going to go with. Aside from that, you might notice that his arms kind of stick out to his side a little bit. That's just the nature of these new bodies for the Hiya Predator figures. And I've gone over that in the past videos. It was especially bad with the first AVP Predators because their chest armor made them stick out a lot further. But it was also an issue with Jungle Hunter because they used that AVP body. The Jungle Hunter V2 anyways. This one, even though it is a different body, it still suffers from those issues because there's just not a lot of room in the armpits. It's too wide there, and the shoulders don't stick out far enough. Now that's how the Hiya Predators initially dealt with it, was the shoulders stuck out a little far. We've definitely come a long way since those. It's still an overall improvement, but I would like to see those shoulders stick out a bit more, just so that the arms can relax at the side more. Because when I initially opened this, they actually stuck out even further than that. I've done some modifications. I dremeled under the armpits, and then I just kind of painted to cover that up. And then I also heated up the arms with a blow dryer, and then I wrapped a rubber band around them so that it constricted them to the side. And then I cooled the figure down with a fan for about an hour. And then I left it in the rubber band for a couple more hours. And I could probably get them to squeeze in a little bit more, but I don't want to mess with them right now because these figures are hard to pose. They're not heavy, but they're top heavy, if that makes sense. Like all the weight is from the waist up, so it's difficult to pose, and that's why they include the stands. I would like to see, with these new bodies, the arms sticking out a little more, just so that they can rest at the side. And I would like to see the feet being able to pivot. They might have to go with like a Marvel Legends style. You know, that's what everybody's doing now. So it's not like they'd be the only ones copying them. Ball joints might also work. I don't know if that would potentially cause issues with the figure falling over because the ball joints can't support it. I can't imagine that would be an issue with these smaller figures that weigh so little. But you never know. It's something to at least look into. You know, it's worth exploring. But those are my two main gripes of these new figures I'd like to see improved upon. Other than that, it's a good figure. It's got good articulation. It's got good detail. I'd definitely recommend it. I'll put some links in the description where you can pick it up on places like Big Bad Toy Store and Amazon. Maybe Entertainment Earth has it in stock. I didn't check there, but other toy stores. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time.